How do you control yourself when you are full of rage and want to keep calm? Clean the shit out of everything. If my house smells like strong bleach, you know I'm mad. I learned to do this one as well. My wife knows if she comes in and the kitchen is spotless that I've had a bad day. Few things better than taking all that energy and forcing it to do something legitimately functional. I'm too physically big to be that guy who hits the wall or yells at the kids. I don't want my family to fear me the way I feared my father. So, I clean. I don't particularly like cleaning, but I'd rather spend an hour scrubbing a bathroom floor than have my children scared when I enter the room. I wish I had a father like you. Your response touched me way too deep. I wish I knew how to give medals. I go outside and walk, paying attention to my breathing. Unless it's dark, then I stare at the stars. Always overwhelms me. Nature is so calming. Unless you're getting mauled by a bear or an earthquake is breaking your house down. Bro, just look at the stars. There's one star that's moving and is turning brighter than the moon. What do I do? OMG, it's going closer. I think to myself, can I do the jail time? Usually the answer is no. Or do I have the money to replace what I break? Patching drywall is annoying. Healthcare is very expensive. It's winter. Window replacement is not optimal. I wait 5 years and if I still remember what I was angry about, I murder them. Robbery gone wrong style. The trick is wear some funky sneakers and a nice scarf, so the news will be looking for some fabulous looking stabber. If you get arrested you have no motive. Oh, that thing 5 years ago? Nah, we solved all nice and friendly like. What about size 11.5 platform heels, a trench coat and a meticulously shaved body, no DNA evidence up in this bitch. Just get a hazmat or clean room suit and leave your phone at home. Still need a witness to testify that you were at home though. And you gotta drive on old beater car with no GPS. We have the family temper. My grandpa used to lose his shit and go into fits of rage. Dad did the same thing. Throwing shit, cursing, breaking stuff. I fucking hated it. Everybody had to tiptoe around their tempers and it's ruined a few family events. When I catch myself starting to see red and go into one of those fits, I just concentrate on how bad my grandpa's and my dad's episodes made everyone feel, and that helps calm me down. Also, whatever it is that triggers it, walk away from it. You won't be able to properly address whatever it is if you try to do it while raging. I watched my dad get taken advantage of, fucked over, robbed, swindled, and used. Now, when someone tries to do the same to me or my wife or daughter, in the course of about 5 seconds I go from, I'm about to lose my shit, I just lost my shit, I don't take no shit, and then I explode. It rarely improves the situation. Most of my anger stems from watching people fuck other people over, and it makes me see red. Watching other drivers be assholes, watching someone put something back in the wrong spot at the grocery store, hearing a manager say something that is an outright lie to get their way. Small things, big things, they're all the same. My kids think I get taken advantage of sometimes. I grew up in a very angry, yelling household. My spouse taught me early on there's a better way. He taught me that there are so many words in the English language that you never have to lash out in anger. Take a moment, get your words together, and deal with it. Use that burning in your belly to compile your words. My kids don't think I'm dealing with things sometimes because I'm not yelling. I worked with preschoolers, and I find zones of regulation super helpful, even as an adult. Basically, it's having an awareness of your emotional state. You have the green, blue, yellow, and red zones. If you can notice that you're entering the red zone, you can take steps to recenter yourself before you go into an all-out rage. This is a great preventative method, but what do you suggest if you find yourself already in the red zone? Honestly, take a break. The more you check in with yourself, the faster you notice you're leaving the green zone, so there won't be as many oh shit I'm in the red zone moments. Instead, you'll have I'm headed towards the red zone, so I'ma take a second before I get there. Honestly, taking a break and distracting yourself does wonders. Sometimes, when I'm really upset about a situation, I'll think okay, I'm going to be upset about this for 5 more minutes, and then I'm going to think about something else. Note, this is literally the exact same strategy I used with my preschoolers, but it works for adults too, juvenile as it may be. The absolute angriest I have been in my life was when my wife chided me for weeks saying I never share feelings with her, then shut me down sharing trouble I had been having since a recent move with you never share with me. I'm not going to start listening now. I let myself angrily scream, "Are you serious?" Which was so loud and out of character, she jumped. I could see I scared her, and while I wanted to argue, I don't want my wife afraid of me. I very literally bit my lip, filled the largest cup in our cupboard with water, and made myself drink the whole thing before proceeding. Think of the consequences of your actions and mood. Buy yourself time to cool down. I rarely let myself show anger either. It really makes an angry reaction really powerful when you do. My mom and dad were always angry and shouting when I was younger, we all just became numb to it. The one time I saw my nana angry though, really had an impact. It's like the earth stopped and everyone listened. I'm a very calm person, but teach calming techniques to emotionally disturbed kids. The biggest help I've found is finding a technique which grounds you and reminds you where you are in the present. I teach lots of different ones, including clench and unclench your toes, focus on the feeling of your feet on the floor while you do it. Breathe in and out so deeply you feel like your ribs are being pulled apart and knitted back together. Grab something near you, could be a pole, table, whatever, and clench and unclench around it. Walk while counting your steps. Do something rhythmic. I like bouncing a ball personally, but can be anything, from using a stamp to skipping. All research shows when you reach red mist your rationality is gone, and you just have to last it out. Your best bet is to recognize when you're losing control and utilize grounding techniques before you're past the point of no return. Edit. Just to add, the response to this has been amazing, and I've tried to answer everyone who asked me a direct question. Please message me if I missed you. Also, apparently I have to watch Die Hard. I'm usually a calm on the outside person, but when someone manages to enrage me, usually actually only my dad, I always have to break something. I've opted for ice cubes because it hurts nothing, and nobody and I can make as much as I want. The act of throwing it tires me out and physically calms me down. And honestly, it's kind of pretty watching the ice cube break into tiny little pieces, like fireworks, but ice. The sound of it breaking relaxes me too. Later on I head to bed because I get so mentally tired from the rage. I don't know if it's bad, but it's harmless and it works for me. What do you throw them against? Are these just normal sized ice cubes? I throw them against a wall or ceiling. Ceiling's nicer because it rains down on you, and the little bits of ice falling on you really cools you off. Yes, they are normal sized ice cubes made from your regular ice tray. You know that kid who's been raised around a lot of angry people and hence knows no other way to behave in life other than all the angry ways? Yeah, that's me. That said, once I moved away from home 10 years ago, I have mellowed out a lot. Some of these are overarching behavioral changes, while others are tricks I use to calm down in the moment. Here's a list of the tricks. 1. Shut the hell up when you feel rage building inside you. Nothing you'll say in the moment will make it go away or resolve the situation. So relax and keep quiet. 2. Deep breaths help a lot. It doesn't need to be overt and visible, but you can take some quiet deep breaths. This gives you something else to focus on, and deep breaths never hurt anyone. 3. Try unplugging yourself and looking at the situation from a third-person perspective. Would you still feel the same way if you were a mere spectator instead of a participant in the situation? This perspective shift works like a charm. These are just a few things that help me. Hope they help you too, OP. 1. Shut the hell up when you feel rage building inside you. Expanding on this point, it's a good idea to do everything you can to not do anything that involves other people. It is incredibly easy to do stupid things that you will regret forever once you calm down, so try not to make any decisions or take any actions that can be twisted by your anger. Exactly. You can't unsay the things you say when you're in a rage, and those things have the capability of doing irreparable harm. Nothing good will be accomplished by you unleashing that hateful, snarky comment. It can only make things worse. Too true. My philosophy has been to come out of every situation feeling satisfied with how I handled it. You are the person you live the most with, and there is nothing worse than hating to live with yourself because of your own actions. I isolate myself and count to a number between 10 and 50, depending on how full of rage I am. When you feel so mad that you want to roar, take a deep breath and count to 4. Found the Daniel Tiger parrot. Oh hell, the kids are watching this right now. It's a hell of a lot better than Caillou or however you spell that little fuckboy's name. One rule I've found helpful is not interrupting the other person, even if they're going on a long-winded rant that's completely factually wrong. It really slows down the tempo of the argument, which helps everyone stay calmer. And it also stops people from feeling like the other person isn't listening to them. Also, it's an incompatible behavior. You can't yell and speak quietly at the same time, so if you're focusing on speaking quietly you won't yell. Well done. When I used to work in a call center, I actually weaponized my cheerfulness and helpfulness as a fuck you to the assholes who would unleash their rage or vitriol about their usually stupid and self-inflicted issue on me. It was so satisfying to hear them metaphorically squirm as their screaming would gradually tone down more and more when I began to respond cheerier and cheerier to their screaming. It usually ended one of two ways. 1. They would eventually apologize for being an asswagon and reiterate that they weren't mad at me specifically, just the situation. Or 2. They would just eventually be reduced to kind of quiet, ashamed, grumble complaining as I resolved their issue. I have a punching bag at home named Kyle. Stay calm, Kyle's at home, and he deserves my juvenile temper tantrum, not other people. I have a brother named Kyle. Same principle. You're lucky. Best of luck to you and Kyle. I think the world would be a better place if more people had one. I think about this gay vampire I met and start counting prime numbers. Yay huh? Most vampires just want to suck your blood. Relevant. SFW. Guess that counts as SFW. It's not like he's coughing up the guy's load or anything. Cursed comment. I go outside for a run. Yup, works every time for me. Exhausted to stress out. Yeah, but I think the issue with most people is the fact that they have to change their mindset to get in the run mode. That's the hard part. Like going from seething rage to oh I'll go run and feel better is missing a crucial step. Honestly, it's why I came in here. You have to be able to stop and really control your emotions for a second and get in a different mindset. It's all about physically taking a second and telling your brain to chill out for a minute. I completely shut off. As a kid I was pretty emotionally volatile, and somewhere along the way I subconsciously started muting my emotions. The result was that I was either apathetic or exploding with emotion. Mostly the latter former, especially as depression developed. Anywho, later on I started to have panic attacks and learned very quickly that I could just shut down completely instead. Over the years it has softened. I tend to take a deep breath and remind myself that I don't want to be that way. Sometimes, I still just switch off. I found that violence, whether smashing things or punching a punch bag, made me angrier, even if it tired me out. I found that breathing techniques by and large made me feel anxious, and I found that while walks were fabulous, they weren't always appropriate. I decide that keeping calm is probably not the best option. Then I fucking wreck a bunch of stuff like relationships and property, mine or others. Then I calm down. Dad, I hope your ass wasn't his property. Oh no, I just look like him. Go away, son, I mean go away, stranger. No, he went for milk. Usually my frustration is because of something done by another, so I constantly work to remind myself that the other person is a human with challenges, difficulties, friends, faults, successes, failures, and that chances are they're not that evil. I want to bring more positivity into the world and maybe start helping others to feel more positive too. Nice. This way of thinking would just push me over the edge. Just reading your comment pissed me off and I wasn't even angry right now. Can I ask why it made you angry? I try to have the mindset above, although often I still rage internally. I breathe deep and force myself to observe, not participate. Silence seems to confuse people as they don't have anything to immediately react to. I should have done this last week. I've been told it makes me scary. I've had people inches from my face screaming at me. I'm just standing there not reacting. After one encounter, a mutual friend told me the rager said I scared the crap out of him because I didn't react at all, even though I should have. Lol, I wasn't calm. It was a verbal altercation, but I wasn't sure it would end there. I just had all my focus on his body and movements with my eyes unfocused to help my peripheral, so I'd be ready when or if it became physical. Isolation. Ignoring others. Count to 10. Go to the bathroom and silent scream. It's actually quite comforting to know that there are others out there who deal with rage issues. If you can, if it's legal, weed really helps. Weed is this far down the comment chain. WTF, it should be higher. Agreed. YMMV. I found after years of regular smoking that weed actually made it much more difficult to control anger, as it generally decreases one's inhibitions. I've been off it for months now and I'm much more even-keeled. Not saying I never agreed with you, but it's not a guarantee. I focus on my breath, imagining the air filling my lungs with every breath I take, visualizing my lungs sending oxygen into my blood and rushing throughout my body. Or I touch or feel something coarse or rough, just to grab my attention away from my thoughts. This is called the grounding exercise. I was taught to do this when I was diagnosed with OCD and panic disorder. I still use it now and then to get a grip on myself when something distresses me. A friend told me this the other day. Focus on a single little point of your body. One that's not feeling any pain. Like the bridge of your nose. Focus your consciousness on that. Feels like nothing really. You live there right now. You are nose boy. The other stuff fades away. I used to be very angry and yell all the time, but nowadays I never raise my voice. In my opinion, anger is never good. I don't really know how I got to that point. I told myself over and over again that being aggressive and angry will not change things at all, it will even make them worse. I meditated over that and told it to myself every day until it became like a mindset. Now, when I feel that I am getting angry, I just breathe slowly, remember this, and I stay calm. It took me around a year to get to this point though. It's gonna be hard in the beginning. But after some time, it will become easier and easier. I am glad you found a way. BTW, I consider 1 year reasonable time to actually change one's mindset. Thank you for the encouragement. I will try. Reflect on yourself and actions. I have found most of my anger comes from miscommunication with the other party. Really take a good look at the events leading up to your anger and what you could have changed about yourself. Don't worry about what the other person has done or is doing. You cannot and will never be able to control other people. Once you realize the only thing you can control is yourself and your emotions, letting go of things that make you angry is much easier. At least in my opinion. Mad. It helps to say I'm mad. When you feel so mad that you want to roar, take a deep breath and count to 4. Personally, when I feel that starting to lose my shit, I have to remind myself where I am, who I am with, and the possible outcomes of the sequence of actions I want to take. It does 2 things. It distracts me from what's making me angry and forces me to be logical and realistic about the situation. Meditation will help you. You learn to experience and accept your emotions without getting swept up by them. Put on the loudest, angriest FU music I can find and go for a power walk until the rage is spent. This technique is what got me in the best shape of my life and kept me from killing my co-workers and bosses at one former shit show of a job I had. If I was really angry, I'd run instead, which was even better. Rage is often something that cannot be kept inside. Sometimes the best way to release it is with a tribal scream. Scream as loud as you can in a room where no one can hear you. I live in an apartment. If I screamed, the neighbors would call a mental hospital. LOL, I miss being able to scream or sing aloud. Scream in a pillow. Haha, that's not the same. I want to let my voice out. It's totally effective. Also, beating the shit out of your bed with an old pillow works a bit. Not to brag, but I've been told by others that they can never imagine me being mad because they've never seen me being angry. I keep a rule to myself whenever I start to feel anger towards someone or something. I ask on my deathbed, what this person or thing that is said done to me matter? When I'm about to die, am I really going to be thinking, yeah, fuck that guy that cut me off while driving? 99% of the time the answer to myself is no. When I'm about to die, gonna be questioning if I really lived my life to my fullest, if I did enough in this world to make it just a little better for the future. Many things that infuriate you won't even cross your mind after a couple days. It really helped me think before I act and let things go. I've also taught myself that instead of raging at someone who pushed my buttons and fucked me over, it's easier to just cut them off my life. I'm not talking about cutting someone ties with someone because they don't have the same views as me. I'm talking about money, cheating, etc. I've only experienced full-on rage 2 times in my life, and I really hate how it feels. I feel like I've just become a fucking psychopath and don't know when or if it'll ever end. It's not who I am, and it's something that nobody should experience and go through. It takes a lot to make me full of rage, but when I do, I'm usually being antagonized. Remove yourself from the source. If the source follows you, tell the source that you need to calm down. If the source persists and you are in your own environment, remove the source. If you are in the source's environment, remove yourself. If it's a shared environment, you need to set principles prior to any conflict, like when you've both had a good day, and say this is my space. When I go here and shut the door, leave me alone. If you do all of these things in order to prevent the conflict, and then it persists, feel free to use brutal force. If it's a person in a public place, quietly ask them to stop. If they don't stop, loudly proclaim their douchebaggery for everyone to hear, so they have to take accountability. 2 things to do. First, when not angry, ask yourself, what does my anger achieve? Is it a successful strategy? Does it get me what I want? The answer is likely no. Now you have motivation to fix this. Second, learn to recognize the feelings when you are becoming angry. This is difficult, but you can see them as symptoms of problem. Elevated heart rate, rising voice level, etc. It's a bit like trying to recognize when you are getting too drunk and need to go home. Once you are able to observe your own feelings forming, you have the ability to stand aside from them and let them blow through you like the wind blowing through a tree. More practically, it might help to leave the room or to just shut your mouth. Anger is temporary. You can't keep it up forever. It will pass. And you can observe that inside yourself too. The question ultimately is, did it control you or are you controlling it?
Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Tell me what you dislike or love about this video, so please comment below and hit the bell icon so you're notified anytime a new video is released. This is a WeCrow Media production.